So we are a network of women. It's a network of professional development for women in the solar energy storage and EV charging industry. Our aim is to bring women together, not only to network, but to guide them through leadership topics. So we have a number of workshops where we bring them together. Like some men might think, we don't, it's not about criticizing, it's about understanding our realities that has to do a lot with cultural backgrounds and to shape a new future for the solar and energy industry. So we do run workshops, we have webinars online, and we will be launching soon also our mentoring program. So I mentioned mentoring program, but I should have said mentoring platform. We have built a mentoring platform that will allow women in the industry from all across Europe to enter the platform and to be able to find mentors and mentees at any time, and being able to find them also by fields of activity or specific topics they want to improve. So mentoring is very difficult in terms of access for women. The reason is very simple. There are less women in leadership roles, and therefore it affects the pool of number of mentors you can find. And also, male mentors would typically feel more keen to mentor male mentees. So this is not me. There is lots of data around it. Basically, we tend to mentor like-minded individuals, and that's when it comes the issue to women facing certain barriers when it comes to mentoring, and that's what we are expecting to be able to sort and to tackle within our Women in Solar Europe mentoring platform. Here today at Solar and Storage Live Zurich, we were immensely happy to be able to have a panel where we actually discussed the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's always women talking about it, but there is a big business case. We have the McKinsey reports, EY, many, the big fours talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and why it makes sense for companies to make an effort on this. Companies that have more diverse workforce and with more roles of women in leadership positions, they do perform better financially. So we were actually bringing those stats there for everyone to know. Some people naturally believe that this is the right thing to do, but we need to make sure that for those who are more business driven and how should I make an effort on this, there is a reward there for them. And we really want industry leaders to understand that there is a big reward for them and for their businesses when it comes to implementing equity, diversity, and inclusion. So obviously there are different mechanisms that companies can implement in terms of implementing DEI policies and activities. I would say one of the problems, well, I'm going to go to the problem, and this was pointed by the EY index. It was that actually leaders, they do believe their companies are better at DEI than they believe that they actually are. So there is a very important point of responsibility from leaders, and for it to come as an umbrella that everyone in the organization is responsible for implementing a psychological safety environment, because that is the root to diversity, equity, and inclusion, is to be sure that we are building environments of psychological safety. The way you do that is by making sure that people are aware of their bias and they are working on it. So companies need to be very proactive in these messages of psychological safety, bias, everyone has bias. It's all right. We were talking about that in the panel today. It's a bias. Bias are psychological. So the brain basically needs to make hundreds of decisions per minute. So there are shortcuts that our brain builds in order for things to make sense and to be able to make quick decisions. So there are different types of bias, but people can actively work on that. So providing trainings on bias and how overcome bias and being able to overcome stereotypes, I would say is as the root. And also for everyone within the organization to make sure that they take responsibility, that everyone, no matter the level they are at, they are responsible for bringing a psychological safety environment. And obviously leaders leading the way for it and leading by example. So I would say the first thing they could do, I'm starting with the first thing, business that is starting on this topic, so they're fairly small. That's the point with the solar industry, is really fragmented. You have large utility companies, but you have installer companies as well, that then might be 50 employees, right? So a good point to start with is looking at policies that they can implement. There are lots of policies that are already out there, and they will give them a guidance on how to do this. The other element is to join networks such as the Women in Solar Europe network to make sure that their members of staff, in this case women, are, if they don't get the support they want within the organization, because maybe there are more men around than women, that they get the support they need and that belonging, that they, well, okay, in my organization, this might not be right yet, but it can be, and I'm in the right industry, and then make sure that from a leadership position, again, there is, at least if not everything is perfect, at least there is a will. We are in still early stages of this, but there is still a will of the company to move in this direction. I think that as a company, that shows where you want to be at, and if you want to be there, you will find the support from associations and networks to help you get there. Well, the benefits of attending Solar and Storage Live, it's obviously being aware of the last trends in the industry in terms of technology, project development, but also there is a big ingredient about networking. What I really like about this format and how solar and storage are shaping the format of its events is that there is a growing effort in networking. So this organization, where you bring thousands of people together and being able to just connect on one-on-one basis on smaller groups, because you're building the different areas that allows us to bring people together, as we do with the Women in Solar Europe network, having our own meetups, that massively helps. And I would say it's a big differentiator when it comes to other event trade shows, is that you have it all here. You have the technology, the showcase of technology, and you have the latest trends from a conference perspective in the different stages, but also a big ingredient from networking through the app and through the areas that you have around the trade show. So congratulations.